Okay. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Saturday Morning Mastermind. I'm playing host this week. Samantha is listening in the background, but she's not feeling 100%. So she's just kind of here with us in body and spirit. But um, I feel if she has something she really needs to say, she will jump out. But otherwise, I'm here with my other friends, Kenji, Lori, and Catherine. So we're still in the book, Sacred Contracts by, I'm sorry, I forgot her name. And
Caroline Myss.
thank you. Right now, can't remember that right now. So I'll let it go to everybody who wants to introduce themselves. And then, Catherine, as always, you do such an awesome job of reading. I'll let you take over from there. Thanks.
Lori Emmons in Denver.
Benji, Portland, Maine.
Good morning, it's Catherine Clement. All right, so we are at the Saboteur, Guardian of Choice, and in the Kindle, that's on page 157. I'm not sure what it is on the hard copy. So here we go. Like the prostitute and the victim, the saboteur archetype is a neutral energy within you that usually makes itself known through disruption. It can sabotage your efforts to be happy and successful if you are not aware of the patterns of thought and behavior that it raises in you. It can cause you to resist opportunities. The saboteur is the mirror that reflects your fears of taking responsibility for yourself and for what you create. The saboteur archetype may be the one most intimately connected to your ability to survive in the physical world. Fears of being without the basic needs in life, from food to home to a social and personal network, often provide this archetype with the power to haunt you. You can silence the saboteur with acts of courage and by following your intuition. It serves you brilliantly as a gut instinct that directs you to take action based on hunches rather than on rational thought. To learn to experience that voice, you must respond to it. Only through response can you manifest the courage to expand your creative environment. Start with small choices, which may be life-transforming acts of will disguised as harmless impulses. The core issue for the saboteur is fear of inviting change into your life, change that requires responding in a positive way to opportunities to shape and deepen your spirit. Yet it is impossible to stop the process of change. Deep in your tissue, you know that having power and using it necessitates change. And although many people want to have it all, they don't want to be all. All choices you make do not have the same potential to transform the environment of your life. The decision to meet a group of friends for dinner, as a rule, does not change your life as dramatically as the decision to get married, start a business, or move to Europe. The choice to respond to an inner voice that directs you to pursue your spiritual life is obviously one that can rearrange your familiar world. I am a great one to sabotage myself, Aaron said. Instead of saying thank you to someone who pays me a compliment, I deflect the kind words being offered. I am forever discounting my talents. But this self-sabotage is the worst in my partnership. I have a wonderful partner, and when he tells me that he loves me or he thinks I'm lovely, I tell him he's crazy. That's about as close as you can come to behavior that is directly trying to sabotage a relationship. He has challenged me on several occasions, asking me why I don't believe him when he tells me how he feels. I told him that I feel I am giving him a break, kind of like telling him he doesn't have to do any acting to make me feel good. It's a lethal pattern that can right out of my shadow saboteur. Now I am practicing to be conscious of when I'm shortchanging myself, and I compliment myself all the time. It sounds like a game, but I'm not playing at all. I feel that the saboteur is now my chess partner, sitting right across the table from me. Every move I make, I look across that table to study the response. I am determined not to stand in the way of all that my life can be with my partner. Our life together is part of my highest potential, which means having the experience of wife and mother with someone I truly adore. Living in the shadow. Although our archetypal patterns are essentially neutral, they do have light and shadow aspects. The word shadow itself suggests a dark, secretive, possibly malevolent countenance that looms in the background of our nature, ready to do harm to others as well as to ourselves. A much more appropriate understanding of the shadow aspects of our archetypes, however, is that they represent the part of our being that is least familiar to our conscious mind. Whether the shadow becomes our friend or enemy depends largely upon ourselves, wrote Marie Louise von Franz, Jung's closest colleague and confidant. The shadow is not necessarily always an opponent. In fact, it is exactly like any human being with whom one has to get along, sometimes by giving in, sometimes by resisting, sometimes by giving love, whatever the situation requires. The shadow becomes hostile only when it is ignored or misunderstood. The queen is among my own personal family of archetypes, for example, and it serves me quite well when I'm teaching a workshop. I have to be certain that everything I need so that I can work at my peak is ready when I need it, from my travel accommodations to the whiteboard I write on, even a cup of tea with honey to soothe my throat from all the talking. My queen makes darn sure everything is just as it's supposed to be, or heads will roll. But at other times, when I least expect it, my shadow queen can make an appearance and start demanding things in an inappropriate way. Often I'm not aware of my queen's agenda until after she's come and gone. It remains in the shadow until I take a good look at whatever damage it may have done. I'll never forget the time I blew up at a couple of airline ticket agents because my flight had been delayed and I felt they weren't being straight with us passengers. As I stormed off in disgust, a young couple who had been waiting in line behind me caught my eye and came over. I thought they were going to thank me for speaking out, but instead the man said, "We just wanted to tell you how much we love your workshops." "Yes," the woman said, "we have all your books and tapes." I wanted to tell them that they'd just seen a textbook example of the Shadow Queen in action, but I was too humiliated to say anything. I just thanked them and kept on walking. It was about what I deserved for attacking a couple of airline employees who were probably just doing their jobs. The shadow aspect of our archetype are fed by our paradoxical relationship to power. We are as intimidated by being empowered as we are by being disempowered. That disempowerment is a threat to our well-being is easy to understand, at least at the surface level. But why should we also fear becoming empowered? That, in essence, is the paradox that feeds the shadow. The shadow can be seen as unexplored power. It expresses itself through behavior that often sabotages our expressed wishes and image of ourselves. These complex aspects of our personalities filter into our behavior by outwitting our conscious minds, after which they often assume a dominant role. We frequently don't know why we do the things we do, or why we have to cope with inexplicable fears. This leads to painful conflict when we feel one way and act another, separating mind and heart. Living with mind and heart divided is like having two battle encampments within, each one fighting for authority over our power of choice. When isolated from each other, the heart and mind are each handicapped. The mind tends to become hyper-rational and the heart overly emotional. This imbalance of forces fragments our power. And like a nation in which opposing forces are constantly at war with each other, when our nature is fragmented, it is vulnerable to being dominated by fear. As Jesus said, "If a kingdom is divided against itself, it cannot stand." Mark 3:24. Even when we know we are acting fearfully, we sometimes choose to be willfully ignorant about it. If I don't know why I'm acting in a negative fashion, then it is easier to excuse my behavior or blame someone else. But if I am aware, both emotionally and intellectually, that I am harming another being, I not only have to hold myself accountable, I must also admit that I consciously chose to be negative. I can no longer hide behind the state of confusion created by the split between heart and mind. As long as your mind and heart lack a channel of clear communication, you will be confused about what to do with your life. Inevitably, as soon as you make contact with your life's passion, which can mean finding your vocation, your life partner, or even your sexual identity, you are going to experience a kind of spiritual suffering until you act on that passion. That suffering is actually a form of divine motivation, urging you to pursue a more authentic life. Awareness of a greater truth adds time pressure to your psyche and spirit because the more you know, the faster you need to respond to that truth. I call this spiritual accountability. If you realize that negative judgments, including judging yourself, cause harm, then you must reevaluate your behavior as soon as you realize that you're being judgmental. You also need to recognize when you are justifying yourself and your actions. Judging others and creating excuses while knowing better are only two of the spiritual challenges that will arise as you work with your survival archetypes. The more aware you are of the demands of managing your consciousness, the fewer hiding places will be available in your psyche and soul for the shadow play of the child, victim, prostitute, and saboteur. This relationship between awareness and responsibility also applies to your health. Once you become aware of how toxic anger or guilt is to your body and spirit, the consequences of these energy poisons become more pronounced than if you did not know better, if for no other reason than that you now know their biological effects. This is a negative visualization in action. Do you want me to stop or continue?
I think that's probably a good spot. What do you guys think?
That's
Okay.
good. I can start with that.
Interesting. I know for me that the saboteur definitely plays a big part in my life with all the times where I've wanted to start and do things or get involved in things. Kind of going back to some things that Samantha had said earlier and some things she said before, like with her father being involved in what he was involved in when he was alive, but not following through on things. Now she's trying to, because of things going on in her life, trying to move forward, I think, with those opportunities, having learned from what he went through and not letting her saboteur of the fear of, okay, well, what happens if this or what happens if that takes over, but by stepping out and seeing what he went through, and I think almost think, well, what's worse, not doing it or at least trying and finding out that it's not the right vehicle or the right thing for me, or not right, not even right maybe at this moment in time, but at least I'm going to step into it and try, and then the part of anger, where in that, we tend to then beat ourselves up, because, oh, I didn't do it. I saw the lessons when, I saw other people going through it and they didn't, and they let their, fear hold them back, and the saboteur step in and take over. Whereas at least going through, you're stepping into that possibility and opening that door for other aspects of some of the things that she's gone in the book to take place to move you forward. And I think that's, a great way of looking at it sometimes, because I know that for me has been one of my biggest drawbacks.
It's too easy to let the saboteur take over and thwart your efforts. I know I've done that.
And as far as going through things that you don't like, like going through and going, in anything, whether anything or whatever you're going through. And then I agree with Catherine in some ways. Anger has a dual side edge to it. It can really help propel you forward and give you that energy, that push, that ability to push you into stepping into that fear, because you're just so mad that you're so afraid and so don't want to do it, but that you use that anger to kind of move you forward into it. But at the same time, anger also, I think, can help guard us too in some ways, as we get into more perilous moments, and it builds up and then it leads into that fight or flight type thing, and sometimes that fear and that anger can then be cautioned through the other side of it and help withdraw us, so that way we maybe live to see another day, so to speak, and we can maybe come at it from another anger. So I think anger and fear are definitely dichotomies of each other and play well off of each other, and sometimes we don't realize that
Right.
enough in our own life and use it to our own best advantage too sometimes, I think, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does, except when it causes you to freeze. There's fright, flight, freeze, and fawn, which I think helps you create something from there. That's what I think fawn means. So, and I really totally get that. I've let the freeze aspect keep me sitting here. I would love to be able to say I've got myself out of this wheelchair somehow, but the fear and the unknown, which are two big things that really hinder a person's growth and understanding.
And now that you say that, I think the saboteur uses fear and the unknown as big, I'll use it this way, billy clubs to kind of keep us,
Or
you know,
stumbling blocks.
yeah, to keep us where we're at. And we tend to let it happen. We tend to let it, overtake us. And sometimes that's not good either. And, it's weird how much the saboteur can take over and take control if you don't learn how it works and how to rein it in, I guess.
It's just another example of this life doesn't come with a manual of how to.
Right? It'd be a lot easier if it did, wouldn't it? When you were born, a little manual popped out here.
Yeah, a little manual popped out attached to us saying, okay, do this in case of this, or do that in case of that, yeah.
Right?
Like it's one of those adventure books that you can, it definitely is. It changes with what your choices are
Yeah.
and your
I,
actions.
Yeah.
I will go back to saying, hearing, knowing and hearing all of your stories and some of that, gives me greater hope in myself, because I look at you, Lori, I look at you, Catherine, Kenji, even some of the things Samantha's gone through, and the strength and the resilience, and using certain aspects of what she's talked about in this book to move yourselves forward. And, I'm in amazement at all of you because you guys instill me to keep moving forward, you know, in amongst some of my fear, my saboteur moments and things like that. And heck, that's why I'm stepping out and doing this bookkeeping thing I'm doing with this mentor and stuff. And even though it's cost me money, I don't got, but I'm actually really, making sure I keep that paid because I want to get to this point of where I get my own bookkeeping going. There have been a lot of little letdowns and I've stumbled and I've not been energized to do it, but then I have to kind of use going back to what you were saying, Catherine, that anger to push me forward. Like, no, damn it, I'm not going to let this, hold me back. I'm going to do this because I know I can do that. I know it with all my heart. I know I can do it. I know I can be good at it. It's just getting there. So
That's the thing that gets me. You have a focus, a direction that you want to go. And I still struggle with the idea that my condition limits me from doing what I did forever. I loved using my hands, and now my hands are betraying me. They are with these tremors or whatever. And somehow I have to find a way to keep going, or because of my faith and my belief, I know that my God doesn't want me to live that way.
you know what? I look at you and you did one book. You've already done a book. That to me says that it's there, that you can do it, that it took you a while, but you did it. And that speaks farther to me than even where I'm at. And two, I think you can also employ a little bit of AI into helping you and using that to help with some of the things you need to do.
I have really considered that, but then it doesn't feel like it's my work, like something I created.
You
Oh,
don't have
this,
to have the AI write it. You can just have the AI do all the secretarial stuff that you're having trouble doing. Just use it as a personal assistant. Like
well,
Chat
yeah,
GPT. Just tell
yeah.
Chat GPT to, like, you can put your words in there. I wonder if you can even, I bet you could even talk to Chat GPT and have it transcribe and then rearrange, make the edits that you want.
Analyze
That
and
kind of stuff.
You
Yeah.
can, because I've done that. You can.
I know, I'm aware, but it's still having that mechanical thing in there. It's almost like getting a chip implanted in my head so that the tremors are less. I'm like, you're not cutting into my head. I'm not doing that.
Okay, but well, let's use part of this saboteur and part of your own fear. And sometimes we have to work around it and pull back with a little bit of logic, maybe, and say, okay, if it will help me get to where I am, and if it doesn't work out the way you want, you can always scrap it. You can, not go with that. You can then say, okay, I tried that. It didn't still,
Whoever said I'm logical?
but none of us really are if we get down to it. But sometimes you have to step outside of your normal. That's what I have to do with this. My fear of spending the money and not being able to pay that money every month. And so far since May, I've been able to pay it. And by God, somehow I'm going to figure out a way. That's the one thing I'm not like letting go of, because if I let go of that, then to me, I'm giving up on getting myself out of Uber. So, and to me right now, that's an option I don't want to give up. But, and at that point, I think I'm really fighting that saboteur in me, because it's easy to sit there and, some days I've done it. Like I've come home and I've just like, I just don't have the energy. I don't want to do this. I don't. So now I'm trying even to tell myself, do it for an hour. An hour closer than you were, if you try to go for 3 or 4 hours because you really want to do intense. But, I'm trying to break it down into chunks that work for me and into ways that at this point are bite size, but still moves me forward. And sometimes I think that saboteur can really come in and really play that role, or that shadow queen that she was talking about and making demands. Well, I'm really tired, or I'm this, or I'm that, or you're just at your wit's end and you go off on a couple of people that don't deserve to, you know, or we internalize it and go off on ourselves. I think I've heard Catherine say in the past that sometimes we get so to where we beat ourselves up so much that, we're not helping ourselves, and like I said, I go back to all of you, at how strong you move yourselves forward. And I think that's, something that, you know, we can all work with. And part of it, I think, is some of it goes back to that anger and that, getting to that point where you're just not going to take crap from whatever it is that you're dealing with.
Yeah, when you get sick and tired of being sick and tired. Yeah. Anger is like fear in action, I think, because it is fear, but it's a protective fear. Whereas fear is like a pullback freeze, like you were talking about, Lori. Just pure fear typically freezes people. But when you feel like nobody understands, nobody gives a damn, nobody's going to do anything to help you, when you lose hope that life can be better, that's when it gets dangerous, because I've totally been there, and I know Kenji's there now. And when I was there, I really didn't see any future. That's why I was going to do the physician assisted suicide, because there was nobody that could help me. There was nobody that could fix me. It wasn't fixable. And so I just didn't see any reason to go on after that. The suffering was too much. And then I was talking to a physical therapist who said, hey, you should talk to this doctor over at OU Medical Center. I think he can help you. And thank God I didn't let the saboteur step in and say, I've already seen 30 specialists. Nobody can help me. If I had said that, I would have already been dead by now, because I would have gone ahead with the physician assisted suicide. Thankfully, I didn't let that saboteur step in. I said, okay. I went to see that doctor. He saved my life. My health has been so much worse in the past than it is at this point. So it's easy for me to have hope. When you're at the worst that you've ever been, then it's very difficult to have hope, especially when doctors are not only not helping, but they're doing things to sabotage you, like not giving enough pain medications or whatever the instance is. This war on pain medication is bullshit. It just is. I'm sorry. I mean, people are suffering.
There's a war on everything medically, because it's money motivated.
Yeah.
And greed.
Yeah.
They
And
want
it's
me to,
heartless.
they want
Go
me
ahead.
to, They want me to come off of all of the opiates I'm on, which you know is an incredibly low amount, to go on low dose naloxone, so I can prove to them that that's not going to be the solution for me. No other option. And my gastroparesis is caused because I'm on the small amount of pain medication I'm on. So either I do that, and I'm telling you, I last November I was at 27 milligrams, and I told them 5 times I can't live like this. That the cold did something to me in Maine, and I know I heard you about getting out of bed, and I'll let that build on me. But since coming here, since moving up here, the autonomia has been incredibly bad, and it was bad in North Carolina, but it wasn't like this. And I don't know how to explain to people what this is like, living like this, and to get them to they're not making any changes for me. They're not gonna prescribe. They're not gonna help me. I'm on my own, and that feels like I'm just like I just can't be any more alone.
You really need to be in a different state. Not all states are anti-opioid
And
yet.
I
I mean,
and I
they'll
yeah,
make it that way, but
it's coming.
Maybe.
I've had 30, 40 conference calls with my doctor on Zoom. I've got a patient advocate, and it's they won't talk about what you're on for pain meds. They won't talk about treating your nerve damage. They won't do anything like that, even with her. So just prior to coming on here, we had a falling out, and I basically told her that she's as bad as they are. That my advocate is the same way. She's blaming the patient. It's my fault I'm in bed. It's my fault that I'm this way, and it probably is. But boy, it just doesn't sound good.
you can
Uh,
always get a different advocate, can't you? Or can you?
I'm out of money. I even sold the last of my Bitcoin. I was on a clock, that little game where you turn the hourglass upside down. That's the way it felt. And my time has run out. I feel bad for Sweet Pea. She's had to lay in this bed with me, and that's had an effect on her health. It's like, God damn it. God fucking damn it. Been one cluster after another. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't understand why little baby me had to go through that, and now me, grandpa me's got to go through this too. Fuck that.
Sorry, don't know the answers to tell you. I
No,
wish I
then
did.
they're on. That's I'm not asking. I know you guys don't, and I know it's hard. I try not to complain, and I try not to talk about this thing because it's overwhelming. But I know that I'm gonna do some more work. On me, and on healing the trauma in me. Apparently, I got trauma in me I haven't healed, and even though I've done the work and meditated and mushroomed and ketamine, and I'm still not there. So I got this to give me a little push in the back. Isn't that great? I'm so happy.
Why do I hear more sarcasm in there than
Right. Yeah, I have been very, very angry with God in the past. Very, very angry. Just, and sometimes it's really good just to scream at God. Just scream at him. He don't care. He, she, it, because I don't think it's a male, but a male or female. but whoever it is, they don't care if you yell at them. And it sure gets a lot of stuff out, stuff that's because you don't want to complain. So, because nobody wants to hear anybody complain. So you feel, or at least you think that. So you don't want to complain. And so then it all just bottles up, bottles up, bottles up, bottles up. And it does horrible things to our body. And like the book said, I do believe that once you start studying this stuff and you understand the power of words in your life, and then you continue to use them against yourself. Like, I think once you have the knowledge, I think they do hold you to a higher standard. And they keep cranking the nut a little bit tighter on you, because they're like, better now. Before you were ignorant. So, we gave you carte blanche. But now that you know better, we're going to twist that nut every time you screw up to remind you that you're screwing up, kind of thing,
Tighten the vice.
Yeah, I
the
agree.
vice.
I agree with you that, God, because I myself, and you guys know my views and where I stand, I have yelled, screamed, thrown temper tantrums with God about I've done it over the last 3.5 years. Believe me, I have some royal blow-ups. And thank God, God's a forgiving God, and I've gone back and said, I'm sorry, look, I'm the human in this. I'm the human. You made me human. I'm going through this. I'm reacting. That's not where my heart really is. But in the moment, that's just where, but giving voice to it and getting it out and acknowledging it, in some cases, was half the battle. Because at that point, I could put that there and kind of name it, so to speak, and then give it to God and just go from there, and then you kind of return that anger, but not keep that part of it, but the anger and the emotion to propel me forward, to keep me moving forward, and say, okay, Lord, I know overall you know best and what's going on, and you will guide me. Not saying it's going to be easy, not going to say it's going to clear up overnight, not even going to say tomorrow morning I'll wake up and I have $1 million in my bank account and all will be well. And I admitted this to a couple other friends, and I've had this thought a few times where I think, oh, just a nice, good, real accident. I think I've said this, that's not my fault. That's somebody else's fault where, I get injured and I can sue the living crap out of, not that I want to sue anybody. I'm not trying to put that out there. I'm really not. I really don't want that to happen. But in your head, you go and think of the ways of how things can be fixed, and you don't really realize of how, well, if that happens, but what happens if that happens? You could be really hurt. So in that, but at least screaming and getting it out and giving it to God, at least at that point, gets it off of me and it releases it out of my body. And I know that the tension has let go. I have been able to be a little more clear-minded and really look at things and say, okay, what are some practical things I can do? Well, just keep doing what you do. Keep working, keep doing the things, keep plugging away, keep taking on, the side gigs, house and dog sitting and, this and that. And, and I survived. I'm still here. I'm still alive. I'm still kicking. I'm still, in my home, thing. So deep down, I know God provides and he will always provide, and he's never not provided, or she, or, in that sense. And I truly believe, Kenji, in you, there's a stronger part of you that's there that you're forgetting about. And because you've made it this far, and you've lived this long, and you survived this long, I but truly believe there's more there to you, and that you can use and pull and turn into to give you that strength to keep fighting and find that right person that will advocate for you. Find that right doctor that will listen to you. It took me a lot of years to find the doctors I have, and I don't even have near the health problems you have. I have just high blood pressure and something else. But to find a doctor that would really listen to me, actively listen to me, and engage and go back and forth. Once I found that doctor, it's like, oh, hell no, I'm not losing you. And when they retired, I had another doctor, but it was a doctor similar. I've been being, thank God, I've been being replaced with doctors that fit the mold that this last first doctor I got when I got insurance back again, that listened and really gave that back and forth. But I had to really open up too. I had to get honest and tell them, look, you know, we need to, but I had to do it calmly and in a way that was not attacking them, but getting, and I really believe that you have that strength and that power and that ability to do that, Kenji. I really do.
I feel like I was put here to like take my own life. I feel like I'm just saying that I've been backed into a corner. I've allowed myself to be backed into a corner. And, I just started listening to, the body and and how the mind affects the body. I finally just made that connection. And so I was hoping that, I might be able to work through these things. But I mean, I'm just telling you, the time is running out. And she's right. I got to get up out of this bed. But the pain is like, the barrier. It's not just the pain. There's many barriers. There's the pain. There's my resistance inside. There's the lack of desire to help myself. All of and those are all rooted in trauma. Every bit of it is rooted in trauma that I haven't dealt with, which is disappointing because I thought I have been doing work, landmark and therapy and quantum leap therapy and you name it. But I understand now that we never really addressed the trauma, and I've never really healed from it, and I've never really been there for me. And I treat me like they did, and maybe I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I know that I got to get up today and I got to get on the treadmill. I got to get up and I got to walk my dog. And I got to get up and I got to at least juice. And if I can do those three things, then it would have been a decent day and I would have made some progress. And I really appreciate you guys letting me vent. I just need
The
to I
day's
just
not
need to
over yet.
cry. I just need to cry. It's all bottled up in there and I can't let it out. It's like this thing is stopping it from coming out of me. And I feel it like an ocean inside of me.
There's nothing
That
wrong.
makes
There's nothing wrong with letting it out. There's nothing wrong with crying. Believe me, I've done that lots of times.
No, guys, I told you that I had a bad situation. I have a therapist, and she was working with somebody, and she put us two together, and we didn't know each other, and I started to tell her about myself, and I broke down, and I had an emotional breakdown, and she told me I can't handle this. This isn't what I signed up for, and she hung up on me. So, of all of the things that could have happened to me, that was the fucking worst.
No, what I'm saying is, I have broken down and cried. I've cried a little bit on here, but I have literally broken down in my bedroom, crying, pouring my heart out, just saying, literally crying and praying and with nobody around, but even that release and just letting it out, and even in the case, and I'll say it this way, pouring it out to God. And even though at that moment in time I felt like he wasn't listening at that time, but I believe in the long run God was, and somehow, but letting that, because sometimes letting it out to someone else doesn't, I'll be honest, doesn't help.
I
Well,
really
And
believe, I really think that had she just stayed quiet and not said a word and just maybe even plug her ears and just let me have that moment, it would have changed, it would have changed things. Now, it did change things because I'm still talking about it 2 years later. So,
but like I said, I still believe that you got a lot of strength in you. I still believe that you're stronger than you give yourself credit for, because you are still here. And you got all of us here that, we care. We're here, you know. There's it's there's nothing wrong with letting it out, letting go, because I think with that incident you feel like, okay, I can't let it out at all. And I think what you need to know is that God sometimes is the only one that
I
can
know
can hear it.
that was 62 years in the works. I mean, I haven't had that happen to me ever where I was just introducing myself and telling a little bit about what had happened, and then I just started to cry. That never had happened to me before. So, and it got shut down. The lid got put back on it, and I can't cry, and I can't cry for myself, and I don't have that deep emotion, but I felt it when she said, I was feeling it, and it was coming out of me. So I know it's still in there, and I'm just hiding from it because I'm afraid. I'm afraid of it.
well, I agree with Dan. People are assholes. I mean, he didn't
Yeah.
say that, but seriously, like we the the biggest trap I think that we get ourselves into, and I know you got to go, Dan, so I'm gonna keep this short, but our expectations. We have expectations of everything, of what a mom should be, of what a wife should be, of what a life should be. We have all these expectations. And then when things don't happen that way, we get all upset. Well, maybe we just need to change our expectations. I mean, not that some people just can't handle listening to other people's pain. Maybe they're an empath and they take it on themselves, and suddenly they're in all this physical pain and they just have to escape it, or
Oh,
maybe they,
that was exactly it. That I totally understood what I got it. It's caustic. It was all over her, and I could get she was trying to not let that be. You know what I'm saying? I totally understand. But boy, oh boy, why? I just like I asked God, why couldn't it have been you, Catherine? You would have never said that to me. You would have just let me do my vent. You never would have said that to me. Why couldn't it have been somebody like that? And then I start to get angry, and I'm like, "Fuck you, fucking prick."
yeah, yeah.
And that's negative, and that that doesn't come back the way we kind of want it to come back.
But
It,
at this point, that's a healthy negative, though. You
Yeah.
needed that release. You needed that outlet. You needed that, and we've all needed that. And I'm going to be honest. I think we've all had somebody shut us down.
Oh, totally.
So in that sense, have we?
That's why I just talk to God. I don't go to other people. I do not go to
yeah,
other people to Well, once in a while, Samantha gets a little bit of venting from me. God bless her. But
Oh God, yes.
typically, I don't go to anybody but God because God understands. God will listen without making asshole comments. And often God will shoot back some feedback to help me move on or away from the situation that I'm in. God is definitely the best person to go vent to.
Oh
Yeah,
God,
because
yes.
Ever
then
get
you
tired
don't
of
get,
it?
then you don't get the other person's emotions and attitude and injuries and all that involved in the
It triggers
situation.
their victim, is what it does.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Or
And I,
their inner child or their
Mm.
So I'll
prostitute.
say this and then I'll let it go. So the therapist that I was working with that put us in touch, when I told her what had happened, it was a complete discounting of my emotions. It was, well, you shouldn't have done that, or it was not, it wasn't loving and accommodating, and it wasn't, she didn't want to accept that I wasn't able to get it out because of this other person. So I also couldn't tell the therapist that what had happened and get any kind of resolution. So it was.
That's why I don't go to therapy, honey.
Yeah.
Not go to therapy. No way.
I will be honest. I have a couple good friends I go to when I need to talk on certain things, and things like that. And then I use you guys. You guys are my biggest therapy and my biggest part.
Mhm.
And
This is my
that's
therapy.
why even even with our differences in our views on God and how we look at life and being more conservative, a lot of you guys are a little more, but I value and I love this group and I love who you all are.
Yeah, I do
And
too.
in that sense, it, like I said, I've said this before, I really value, and that's why I'm still keep coming to this, after we started, what, 13 years ago, you know, in one format, but yet we're here in this format. And I've grown, to where I love and care about you all. And I will admit, Samantha has heard some things from me too. I've gone to her a few times,
Poor
you know.
Samantha. No wonder she's sick over there. We keep dumping our shit on her.
But,
No.
um, but um, but I also see this as a way for us to healthily build each other up and to listen and to be, and to see the strength, see the things in each other that we don't see in ourselves. And you're a lot stronger than you really give yourself credit for, strength, Kenji.
Yeah,
You know,
I agree with Dan.
Yep.
Lori's a lot stronger than she gives herself credit for. You
Yeah.
know, Samantha,
Thank
through
you.
sharing what she's gone through in the past and things, man, I am in awe of her, where she took her relationship from years back to where they are now.
Yeah.
And in a lot of ways they're thriving. Yeah, sure, they've had, things, because of circumstances with economy and stuff. But when you look at them, they're thriving. Their life's not perfect, but I think they're thriving. Catherine, hearing the things you've gone through and what you've dealt with, and I gain a lot. I'll be honest, between you and Samantha and Lori and Kenji, you know, but hearing some of the things you've talked about, Catherine, I gain strength from that because to not let the pain, not let the, all that, being in that kind of pain and dealing with, similar to Kenji, not being able to move at times, not be, but somehow getting back to where you're sitting up, you're thriving, but you also relied on God's strength, you know, uh, you realize the strength that you have. I think, we all have that, and I think we all help see that in each other, and we build that up. And so don't count yourself out, Kenji. Don't give up on yourself because none of us out. We
Right.
may not be able to do it. We may not be able to be there. We may not be able to fully advocate and do all the things that you need, but believe in our hearts. And I think I say this for all of us, believe in our hearts. We're all there and we're all lifting you up to know that there's value in you and value in who you are, and that we see the worth in you. You need to see the worth in you.
Yeah, I agree. Amen.
Appreciate that. I know you guys got to get going, and it's been a wonderful discussion today.
You know what? Sometimes dealing and helping people is a little, if I get started a little later, I get started a little later.
Catherine,
God will take care of that.
one quick question. If you hadn't found that doctor and had the surgery and were still like I am, do you think you'd still be around?
You speaking to Catherine?
You're muted.
Yes.
You're muted, Catherine.
Sorry. No, I don't think I would, but I never thought that I would find the doctor to begin with, is the point of the story. Like, I was so engulfed in my own misery that I couldn't see any possibilities out there. And yet God still sent that boat by me to save me. Like, he sends boats and helicopters and kayaks and all kinds of stuff to help you when you're standing on your roof and the flooded water's rising. You get all these opportunities, but you don't see them because you're engulfed. And I never thought that there was a doctor that could help me at all. I thought that was beyond
That's why I took the
ability.
chance with Dr. Conway. That's why I did the surgery in May.
Mhm.
But unfortunately for me, it hasn't seemed to have done what it did for you. And in fact, in some ways, it's made the nerve damage part of this thing worse.
Mm.
Um,
Well, it takes a year for the effects of the surgery to even calm down. Like,
right.
it's not it just doesn't fix everything. And it definitely doesn't fix the anger of the 5 years of living in suicidal pain, you know. And if I start thinking about all the doctors that misdiagnosed me and gaslit me, if I start thinking about that stuff, if I let my mind dwell there, I get into a hellacious anger.
Yes, I know.
Hellacious. But I don't let my mind go there, because that is not serving me at all. It's not serving me. It doesn't
So
it
that
doesn't send
discipline
them to
that you're talking
jail
about,
or
that discipline that you're talking about, you're not going to let your mind go there. That's the struggle that I have had. My mind
I,
goes there.
I know.
Thank you.
I know.
And thank you,
Th-
Dan. And thank you, Lori, for
I'll be
being
Thank
here
honest.
you.
for me.
I think at different levels, we all have that place where our mind goes to. I know I have mine with the things I deal with. Mine may not be so physical in aspect, but mine's more in other aspects, and my mind goes there. Believe me, almost every day. I have to constantly, and this is a lot of times what I'm praying to God. God, just help keep those thoughts out of my mind.
Right.
Just keep them away and help me focus on other things and the things I need to focus on. And thank God, a lot of times I can distract myself, and sometimes it takes me distracting myself to give God that opportunity to help me, you know. And I think Catherine will bear this up, and I think Lori and Samantha probably will too. It's a learned response. You have to train yourself to
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
You can't just expect it to happen on its own. You have
But
to
see,
start.
I hear that, and we should have been starting at 2 months old, not 63. I'm just saying. I mean, I get it. I mean, but I'm just saying, would have had a much more lot longer to practice this than just to be starting it at 63 years old.
Right,
Do-
but it's brought to you at 63. And you can't dwell in the area that coulda, shoulda, woulda.
I get it.
Right.
And so I'm supposed to go in this direction. I don't need any more pushing. I mean,
Well,
I don't need
no,
any more pushing. I get where I gotta go.
well, I'm gonna make one last point. I'll be honest, I didn't get this. I'll call it a little bit of divine intervention on realizing that. I didn't get it till within this last 3.5 years. I really didn't. I didn't get it that, okay, God, I need to learn to trust you when those thoughts start coming in, and I try to do it more and more. It really took me up until this last few months that, okay, I always go there. I always go there. That's my default mechanism. So in learning that default mechanism, now I'm like, okay, Lord, just help me keep those thoughts away. Help me, focus on other things, focus on what I need to do now, and keep me moving that way. And thank God he's doing it, and it is making a difference. I'm not out of the woods yet with what I'm dealing with, but it'll come. I believe it wholeheartedly.
And I think the hardest thing for any of us to do is not use the terms always and never.
Right.
I don't
Right.
always do this and I don't never do that.
Yeah, that's true. And the other thing is you have to look at your focus. And God bless you, Kenji. You're trying to be an advocate for other people in your situation. You're taking on all their stuff on top of yours, both physically, mentally, and emotionally. You're out there trying to fight against the government and what they're doing with opioids, which is a losing battle. Like, you're in all these fights and battles, and it's no wonder that you have to put your focus on where you want to be. Like,
I don't know where I
and I
want to
know
be.
that
I don't
sounds
know where I
so,
want to be.
well, you want to be
Anywhere but here.
forward. Yeah, anywhere but there. Yeah, that's true. But seriously, like, I had to step away from remember when we were doing the docuseries? I had to step away from that. I was taking on everybody's shit. Every story I listened to, I took on their shit.
Yeah.
And people can call me whatever for stepping away and not supporting the pain community. But when I do that, I suffer. And I had to acknowledge that. And I had to move my focus and realize that everybody is a divine spark of God, and everybody has their own battles that they have to fight through, and you just can't fight everybody's battle for them. At least I can't. And by the looks of it, you can't either.
No, I'm not going to even win this one. I mean,
If the goal is to win, and that's could be the
we did it.
stumbling block.
Well, no, I don't need to win. The bottom line is I'm not, I, I don't like being in pain, and I don't like this physical pain and what it's manifested itself into be, and what I've allowed it to grow. And it's just, this is my worst fear come true. I mean, this is what scared me shitless in life, was to end up like this.
Where you're focused, we create with our thoughts.
I know, but I didn't know what I was creating when I was a child. I had no idea.
But you're
None of
still
us did.
creating today, and you can undo all of that stuff.
I've been trying. It seems like it's not as easy to undo.
Yeah. You got to be able to let it go.
I mean, the physical therapy I did on Monday was lymphatic drainage, and this advocate told me you need to be doing it at home, and I'm like, I can't even. I'm still sore from what he did on Monday. I'm still in agony. I had no idea I was going to respond to that kind of treatment like this, and have this kind of autonomic and and pain response to the treatment because I'm trying to help me.
Right.
I'm paying somebody to take me there and pick me up, and I'm doing everything I can. And I'm gonna go back Monday. I'm gonna do it again because I know that it's okay to have pain. It might help the pain, but if it's not gonna help the pain and I'm making it worse, I don't know what else to do.
Lymphatic drainage should not be painful. I don't know what you had done, but lymphatic drainage is very important and you should do it at home for yourself.
Said I
But
had a
don't go to
blockage.
somebody else that's going to hurt you.
Says I had a blockage and that he's been working on the blockage. So I don't really know what he did. He may not have done anything other than light pressure on around the scar and on the left side of the groin. He didn't really, I don't believe that the pain was caused by his touch. I think it might have been caused by the drainage.
Well, look at that as that pain is other pain escaping from your body. I mean, it really is how you compartmentalize it in your brain, whether you look at pain as a good thing or a bad thing. And you can't put it all in one bucket because there's lots of different buckets.
Yeah, I mean, it's a
Yeah.
motivator, right? I mean, it's a motivator just like negativity and all the other things that we talk about. It's definitely a motivator. And I'm being motivated to go in a different direction than what I had been doing, because what I was doing was yelling at God and screaming at the top of my lungs how much I hated him. And that didn't
Well,
work either.
that's good though.
Yeah, but I think that I basically was so angry when I did it, the vehemence that I had, everything that was worth anything to me took. Because there was no other hope for me, maybe. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I gave him any options. And it's just me and my trauma. It's not me. It's the trauma in me. And I need to heal from that trauma. So I'm going to find somebody that knows about the body and pain, and I'm going to do some work.
There
And
you
I'm gonna
go.
and then I'm gonna get out of this bed. I'm gonna take Sweet Pea out for a walk. I'm gonna come home, and I'm gonna try to juice, and then I'm going to um,
Take the try out of it. You do it or you don't.
oh no, I do it. I'll do it. She needs to go for a walk around the block, and then I need to get on the treadmill, and then I need to juice. And then if I get in the shower after that, that's a pretty darn good day. But I'm feeling sad right now that I've allowed myself to deteriorate to this level,
That's
waiting
okay.
waiting around for them to cure me.
That's okay. That's what I did too, honey. That's what I did. I kept waiting for other people to fix me and they can't. We
I
have to fix
know,
ourselves.
I know, I know.
And it's you do get mad at yourself. It's like, well, shit, why am I doing this to myself all the time?
Right. Why don't I take better care of me so that when I have these flares, they're not so bad? Why don't I do more for me? That is a huge question. Why don't I do more for me?
That's a good question to
I know
explore.
I know the answer to that, and it breaks my heart.
I think for all of us, it's a question we all ask ourselves. And two, sometimes we, I know for me, and I'm going to say for me, I know I've tied it into what I've expected out of other people to do that I think they should do because I think they should see what I'm going through and should have that empathy, that compassion to try and help me out of it. But then I have to turn around and go back and realize that everybody else is dealing with their own shit. They're dealing with their lives. And while they may have empathy for me, while they may have compassion for me, while some people might be able to help me a little bit in some way, shape, or form, deep down, it's me, my resilience on God, my belief in God, and me to surround me with the things I need to help me move forward, and also finding the right core group of people that I can lean on a little bit, not necessarily expect them to do anything, but lean on that I know that will at least even listen. Sometimes it just needs that listening to allow me to put my thoughts together and realize, okay, let me try this way. I've tried this way, now let me try this way, in that sense. But ultimately, my resilience and my strength and my core stuff goes back to me and my connection with God and how I view God and what I believe. And I'm still here 62 years later. I've lived through some things, I've dealt with some things, and I'm still here. I'm still alive, surviving, in some ways thriving, even with all the pains, the ups and downs and things like that. Not pains like what you or Catherine have gone through, but we all have our pain that we go through and our pressure points and our things. And, um, having the few good couple close friends and then this group here have helped me make decisions and move and try things and do things. Sometimes I fail and sometimes I find out miserably and kind of go back into my little spiral, but I believe that I also have helped pull myself out with God's strength, relying on his strength to help trust and lead and guide and because it ain't over until he says it's over.
Yeah. And believing
Exactly.
that he doesn't hate you and he, she, they
That
are
I don't
punishing you
believe.
in some way.
See, that I don't believe. I feel that it hates me. That it hates me.
That's the first belief you got to change, baby.
Yeah.
That's the first
Most
belief you got to
definitely.
change.
Because I could be so angry at God,
I
and
know. I know,
I
Lori.
just cannot. I can't go there.
I know. And see that I appreciate that because we could go there if we made that choice and we're choosing not to. So it helps me know that when that negative thought comes that I'm not the only one that has them. You, Dan, and Catherine have them and we just move away
Everyone.
from those thoughts because they don't serve us. And they make things worse.
That's right. That's
I
exactly
love you
right.
Everyone
guys.
has those.
I mean, this is probably one of the better Saturday mornings I've had in a long time. So I feel bad that Jason and Samantha weren't here, and Jane.
Samantha's here with us.
I'm
Oh,
here.
she's here. Hi,
I've been
Samantha.
listening to you.
Oh, well, gee whiz. Hope we're not boring.
I know. No, I was reminded of a book I read a while back, Kenji, and everything that you've been talking about, and I'm feeling like you need a pattern interrupt with your thought processes. And because we have this tendency to spiral downward when we're in our emotional turmoil, and it just spirals and spirals and spirals, and it's really hard to say to ourselves, okay, stop saying that. I got to stop saying that to myself, and sometimes we just need a pattern interrupt that is effortless to do, and we do it until. And this book that I was reading, it was based on the Ho'oponopono. I don't know if you've heard of that, but all that you do is you basically just say these words: I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank
I
you,
love you.
and I love you. And that's it. And you just, every time a thought comes up, is you just say that. Don't add anything more to it. Don't think about anything else. Just, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you. And that is you saying those things to yourself,
Okay.
because
I'll
it's
try
hard.
anything.
I know how hard it is.
I'll do it. I'll
I
do it.
don't I don't know how hard it is to go through the pain. I mean, I know how it is when I have a migraine, and I know that's excruciating, and I can't imagine that going on continuously forever. but you've already mentioned a couple of different times, you know, a lot of this is trauma. And these words can help with trauma
Yeah.
because you're recognizing that you're going through it and it sucks and you keep spiraling. And sometimes all you need to do is just interrupt the pattern in whatever way you can possibly think of. And I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Okay.
Okay.
If
Yeah,
nothing
good,
else, when you start
Samantha.
spiraling, just say that. Every time a thought comes into your head that's crap, say that. And
Good
just
word,
do it.
Samantha.
Do it until.
I'll try
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
I'll try it.
It
I
can't
know,
hurt.
I know it's the right thing to do.
What are the words?
We love you.
I'm sorry. I forgive you. Thank you. And I love you.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
If I
And
Exactly.
start
write
crying,
them too.
I'll probably start
Yeah.
crying.
Just
That's
and that's
okay.
fine. And let those tears come because you know that that's the key right there. Those words are the key
And
to everything.
The tears are no longer at my mom and dad. The tears are for me allowing this to continue for so long.
you are
Mhm.
feeling sorry for yourself.
Yes,
You know.
for
No,
me.
I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
Yeah, to
Thank you. I
yourself.
love you.
For me not giving. Yes, I'm sorry. I forgive you. Thank you, and I love you. All right, guys.
Yes. Yes.
Thank
All
you,
right.
And
Samantha.
we
Love you
love you.
guys.
And we love
I
you.
can't believe I
yes.
found you guys.
Yeah.
Well, quit saying negative things like that.
I'm sorry.
You have to
I
believe it.
forgive you. Thank you, and I love you.
Uh-huh.
You're
You know
saying
what?
this to yourself, though.
I'm
Oh, I
gonna
will.
type it in the chat for you and you can
Look,
save it.
I
look at
think
it
I'm going to
this
put
way.
it on my mirror. I think I'm going to write it on my mirror. I'm going to be honest
Good.
with you.
Yeah.
Good,
Put
good.
it on a post-it note and stick it on your whatever, everywhere. Every time you wake up, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you.
I did read that book and I did do a lot of that back in the day too. He was
The
asking
body
me the other day, what all did you do to get out of this? And I'm like, it was all
How
energy
can I
stuff. Like it
It's this
wasn't
book
So
anything a
many
too.
things,
doctor.
yeah.
This
Yeah,
book too. This book is talking about the same stuff. It is.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. How can I explain all the things that I've done to try and
Yeah.
change it?
All
I
right.
can't even remember them all.
Right.
Mhm.
But I can remember. I'm
Yep.
sorry.
I'll throw this out too. And I think Catherine will probably really validate this too. There was a reason why God had you somehow find Catherine and then also find this group.
Really?
I believe it because for me, I know the power of this group from what we started, it was a very different group when we first started, but over time and years, it's changed to where, the love that is here is very unique because, and I tried to explain it to people. I said, this group, even though none of us have physically met,
I've
but they're
met
such.
Catherine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Sorry,
we
sorry,
have.
sorry. But otherwise, basically none of us have ever met. But the love and the admiration and the care that we have for each other is, I believe, in a roundabout way, God ordained. God brought this group together for this, for each and one of us, for all our whatever
For
that we,
such a time as this.
yeah,
Yeah.
that we deal with and go through. I don't see us ending it anytime soon either because of that love. So I don't believe it was by chance, by happenstance. I believe it was all God ordained, God focused, and you just followed what he laid out. You might have had help. Catherine might have helped gear you a little bit more because of your friendship with her and stuff like that. but that's how things like that build. And like I said, I know how much this group means to me. So I hope in the long run that you get that same feeling in time from this group.
Oh, I have.
Because we all do. We all do. We love you. We see value in your life, and there is value in your life.
Besides, who's going to take care of Sweet Pea?
I am. I will. I'm gonna take her for a walk, and then I'm gonna
Good.
get on my treadmill, and then I'm gonna juice, and then I'm gonna shower, and we'll call it a day. But it'll be far
And
more than.
the
Eh.
tears and everything are help cleanse the lymphatic drainage.
Yes.
And don't
Yeah.
forget to write. Don't forget to write that what Samantha
I
gave you.
typed it in the chat in the Facebook. So you can just copy it and print it or write it or whatever.
Okay.
Good. Good
All
job.
right. It's there for you.
And a good
Was that-
reminder for the rest of us too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I needed it.
Because it's
Big
not
time.
like once you figure it out, all your shit goes away. Like it's still
No.
right?
It does, but you can keep saying it. You just keep saying it. And
Saying
then
it.
and some of you'll release it and some of it you'll realize, oh, I'm being such a shit to myself, but I forgive me anyway, and I'm sorry, and I still love
It's,
me, you
it's
know?
like the little rocker thing that goes on the pressure cooker. It
Right.
lets out the steam so that it doesn't cause
Blow up.
overwhelming that. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh,
I logged
well,
on. All right. Thank you, guys.
Love you guys.
love you
I
guys.
know.
And I'll be honest, I never stopped the recording because you know what? I
Yeah.
think this could help somebody somewhere out there so much. So,
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
but once again, we're here most Saturdays, same
Mhm.
time, you know, and you can find us on Facebook at Mindset Mastery Collective and on YouTube at Mindset Mastery Collective. You can also on Facebook, you know, reach out to any of us and, you know, find out how to be a panel on here if you want to join us. But that's it for the Saturday Morning Mastermind. Look forward to seeing everybody next week. Bye for now.
Have a great week. Love you guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.